Good afternoon, everybody. A sunny Sunday greets us in Sydney's southwest, welcoming in the second half of the NPL New South Wales men's season. A meeting of new and old in this division. Mariners. Alex Molchanov, delighted to be guiding you through the action on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. A very warm welcome to you wherever you're tuning in around the world. Team news, not too much of it for either side. Sydney United make just one change from the team that beat Wollongong United by 4 goals to 2 in the Australia Cup in midweek. They start like this with Oliver Kalatz in goal behind a back four of number 21, Dejan Bakadanakoski, the centre-half pairing that has been ever-present for Zeljko Kalatz this season. Number 14, Liam McGing, and the captain, Adrian Vlastelica. Christian Gonzalez replaces the injured Matt Hatch at left-back. A midfield four as well for Sydney United. Number 22, Stefan de Robillard. Number 5, Anthony Tomolich. Number 15, Tarek Maya. And number 10, the informed Carlos de Oliveira, behind the strike partnership of number 9, Patrick Antelmi, and number 8, Shunta Nakamura. The Mariners, too, make just one change because they battled gamely to a 2-1 defeat against Rockdale Illingdon last weekend. Don Niankuru playing a starring role, and they'll be relying on him again today. Dylan Poré-Cullen is in goal wearing number 40, a back four of number 22, Rocco Smith, number 4, Andre Parks, number 34, Parker Williams, and number 5, Harry Menem. A midfield four of Niankuru, number 8, the captain, Lucas Cicluna, number 36 is Jordan Small, Number 12, Tay Hadley, is on the left behind a front two of number 37, Bailey Brantman, and the returning top scorer for them this season, Lucas Smythe. So our referee is Brody Merchant, and he gets us underway. Sydney United in their home strip of red, white and blue socks. The Mariners in their away strip of all navy blue. Well, there was no shortage of feeling in this one in the opening game of the season up at Plume Park. 3 red cards and a couple of lengthy suspensions handed out as United ran out 2-1 winners over the young Mariners. It was a less than warm welcome to the competition for them in their first game at this level. A little more battle-hardened now, but they arrive looking to exact some revenge and also in desperate need of competition points. Just 2 wins from 14 games so far, but amongst a buoyant mood at the football club after their senior side sealed a second straight A-League Men's Championship and an historic Australian treble last night up in Gosford. Harry Menem is looking to get forward, and the first foray from the Mariners into Sydney United's half comes to nothing. Bit of a different story for the hosts, building towards their entry into a national second division next season. Disappointing to go down in the league fixture last weekend to St George City after such a good run of form. I believe City level on points with them coming into the afternoon. So the 3 points today. Their competition rivals. St George City are a factor in action this afternoon as well. So keep you up to date with the scores in that game down at the Illingdon there this weekend. 3 games in this competition taking place at the Illingdon Sports Centre. Sydney FC falling 3-1 to Northwest Sydney Spirit on Friday nights, and then a 1-1 draw there between St George FC and Manly United last night. What a goal that was from Miguel Baltha to find the equaliser for Manly United. I'd implore you to, once you've finished this one, or maybe at half-time while we're in a break, have a look at the at NPL New South Wales is all you need to search on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. The news, reviews and highlights like that of last night will be available for you there. Christian Gonzalez into the team today. No Matt Hatch, which is a loss for Sydney United 58. He's probably been the preeminent fullback in the competition since he's moved back there by Zeljko Kalatz. What a masterstroke that has proven to be. Missing his forward thrust today. Gonzalez, one who's such a terrific servant to this club, part of the terrific run to the Australia Cup final a couple of years ago. off the bench at a quarter-final. He's a player who can get forward and threaten in an attacking sense, but doesn't quite have the attributes of young Hatch, who of course was part of this Mariners NPL side at one stage. Successful period under Nick Montgomery before he went to take over the senior side, and the rest is history. Of course, the Oliveira having to battle for it. He wins out on this occasion. Overzealous. We expect this to be the pattern of the play for most of the afternoon. Sydney United, one of the most ball-dominant teams in the competition, although their focus on possession has been a little less noticeable than it has been over previous years, probably to their advantage. They've looked a little more direct, and the goal-scoring returns have been a little bit better. Zelko Kalatz than they were under Miro Vlastolica a year ago. Certainly the form of that man, De Oliveira, over the past month or so has helped. Terrific signing he's been. Coming off an injury with Blacktown City, had a good year with them, getting forward from midfield, and he's been a real addition. Playing off the left, but someone who can tuck in and make a difference inside. And they've got to be careful of the Nkuru because he's got the pace to get him behind as he has here. His touch let him down at the vital moment. Good piece of goalkeeping from Kalatz. Danger not clear though. Still Nkuru goes. Trying to get at Gonzalez. And helped out by Tarek Meyer, who reads the game so beautifully. He just had the composure to pull out a little back heel there as well. City United are all too aware of the threat that Mariners can offer. Young team not as full of senior football as the side that were promoted last season. Harry Menem, who was at the centre of all that drama that I mentioned in the opening fixture of the season when he was sent off for a lunging challenge on Shunta Nakamura. Shunta not an aggressive figure, but Patrick Antelmi certainly found himself in hot water for his reaction to that challenge that day. Missing a month of football afterwards, which cost Sydney United dearly. He's been banging in the goals since he came back, including that crucial equaliser a couple of weeks ago against the Marconi Stallions in the derby. Well read from Parker Williams. Back there with Andre Parks. That's one sort of, I know, has already, will trip up a few commentators over the course of the season. Lucas Cicluna battling for it in there, wearing the captain's armband today. His brother Dylan has made a terrific impact at the Western Sydney Wanderers in their A-League men's side over the course of the season. Menem back there to do some defending. Really away by Parag Cullen. A towering figure in goal. Bakadana Koski trying to fire something across. Nice touch from Nakamura to keep the attack alive. De Oliveira just looking to work a yard for himself, which he managed to do. Just couldn't keep the strike down. Mariners goalkeeper was more than happy to see it whistle away over his crossbar. See the way that Lucas Villela wants this side to play. It's a style for the Mariners, set down by Montgomery over his time in charge, and then carried on by Andrew Christensen and now Villela. Wiltshire actually took charge of the side when they were in the grand final, their last competitive game here. They led for so long before being beaten in extra time, funnily enough, by St George City. The side who Sydney United are just trying to create some breathing room from this afternoon. Kalatz is forced to hoist it clear. Clever piece of work from Antelmi, such an intelligent footballer with all those years of experience. The A-League men's program as recently as a couple of seasons ago with Western United. Gonzalez getting forward and he's summed it up beautifully. De Robillard should have opened the scoring. Usually pretty sure-footed there, Stefan De Robillard. It came to him at a difficult height though, had to get his leg nice and high, and that was always going to make a challenging to keep the ball down, but it's a promising start from the hosts. As they would have expected this afternoon, as they anticipated, and as they needed as well. Don't worry, I'll get it out eventually. Kuru identified the threat he offers. We've already seen him get in behind the Sydney United defence once. Inside the opening 5 minutes. Robillard just a little bit of a hospital pass for back at Anakoski, who was always going to have to go into the challenge with Cicluna. Got there first and won the free kick to bail his teammate out. Diane came through the Sydney FC Academy for a number of years. Been astute in recreating the squad a little bit. There have been a lot of old heads who've been around the traps for a very long time at Sydney United, and came to a nice culmination with their win of the Waratah Cup at the back end of last year at Leichhardt Oval over Apia. Sort of send off a good contingent of the squad. Names like Yanni Fragoyanis and Chris Payne. Matt Bilic, players who've been around a long time, but identified by United that they needed the squad to look a little bit younger and a little bit fresher, and certainly the process that they've started is beginning to bear fruit. We've seen through their form over the last couple of weeks, not least with their win over Apia Leichhardt, who are at the top of the table as we sit here this afternoon. Absolutely thumped them at Sydney Olympic Park last month. It's continued over the course of the season. Hoping last week's result is just a speed bump rather than something more telling for them. Certainly they're striking the ball about with a confidence at the moment. They had to overcome a tricky opponent in the cup in midweek as well. Wollongong United made it all the way to the round of 32, you'll remember, back in 2022. Took the lead in that game, and United had to battle back, and Antelmi getting on the score sheet twice. Along with De Oliveira, who I've already mentioned, and Matt Hatch, who unfortunately not been made available for this afternoon's fixture on the back of that game. We've seen Gonzalez try and get forward and try to replicate some of his attacking thrust down the left. Harry Menem just scooping that one clear. Lightly read by Liam McGing, and Aaron is just having trouble getting a touch of the football at the moment. Lovely switch of play from Tomalic. Forward to Robillard. Searching for Antelmi, just couldn't find him. Feeling amongst the fans, who a healthy contingent of them along today. The weather's inviting, unseasonably warm walk across from the car park today in front of the King Tom Club. Aaron is boosted big time by the return of Lucas Smythe today. Probably missed his goal-scoring abilities last weekend at Rockdale. Might have been able to work a result. That was certainly a promising performance for Villa's young side. Took the lead in that game and were pegged back, but Donny Akura, I mentioned already a couple of times in this broadcast, got the early goal, and took more than an hour for Rockdale to find the equaliser. Sutherland's draw last night means the gap to teams sitting above them and out of the drop zone just got a little broader. 3 points now. Getting arrested with one win or a run of results. Certainly they've got a healthy part of their fixture list coming up, in which I feel they'll be able to pick up points. We'll get to that in the next sort of run of fixtures as we go on this afternoon. Tomalic for Vlastelica. And here's Gonzalez. A fewer old heads retained by Talatz at the start of the season. Along with Antelmi and, of course, Adrian Vlastelica, the captain.
Meyer, another one of those. Been ever present for them in the centre of midfield so far this season. The question for the Mariners is how do they play out around the press? They're certainly looking a lot more proactive without the ball this season, Sydney United 58. But they've done that cleverly, the young Mariners. Nice work from Headley. Jordan Small, a searching ball towards Smythe. All read by McGing. They're going to have to do well to outfox him. Liam McGing made the short trip from Marconi to United in the off-season. Player, of course, who spent time with the Wellington Phoenix and a little bit with Sydney FC as well. His brother Jake was mainstay of the Mariners for a number of seasons in their senior team. Is Jordan Small. Wants to play a lot of the ball through him so far to this point. Only Brantman dropping deep. Looking to play conductor. He's weighted that one beautifully, but Smythe had stepped early. Fired well and truly over the top. Some Bronx cheers from the vocal United supporters on the hill. Taking their regular spot this afternoon in the sunshine. Koski looking direct, not able to reel that one in. It's been a fruitful change for Stefan de Robillard, making his move across here. He's managed to break into the first team over the first month or so, displacing a Mariners Academy graduate, and Aiden Milicevic. Playing that NPL 2 grand final here a couple of years ago that I mentioned. Brantman was looking to get a strike away on the half volley, thumped against McGing. Reeled in by Headley. Sum it up with Bakadana Koski in front of him. Looking at back, Small again. Shikluna. Now the Mariners able to just dictate the tempo a little bit in Sydney United's half for the first time this afternoon. But the pressure of the press is driving them back a little bit. Smart bit of work from Andre Parks. He's been the stalwart for them in the centre of the pitch, on the defensive side of the ball this season. Adventurous ball from Smith to find Menham. He managed to make something of it and win inside a corner. Smith's the one I haven't mentioned that was sent off in that game at Plume Park, the first game of the season. He's the one who really got into it with Patrick Antelmi. Keep an eye on that little battle if it eventuates. Tell me, involved as one of the markers as they get set to defend this set piece. It's Shikluna to deliver. It's a decent ball as well towards Smythe, who's shown penchant for getting on the end of balls like that. Brantman going to duck in on his left foot. Got dazzling feet. Brantman was brought down, and there was very little hesitation from Merchant in pointing to the penalty spot. An early scare for the hosts. Good little spell for the Central Coast Mariners, and they've won themselves a penalty kick. The flashing feet of Bailey Brantman brought down. And Lucas Smythe has been prolific from the penalty spot already this year. Wastelitzer is continuing with the arguments, but it looks pretty clear from where we were sitting. Straightforward decision from the referee. Can they repeat the trick? It was an early lead they took here. In the grand final a couple of years ago, it was an early lead they took against Rockdale Illidan last weekend. Smythe blazes it over. Never threatened Palatz's goal. Usually so cool and calm from the penalty spot, Lucas Smythe. He erred horribly there. And that has enlivened the home support. One of the best atmospheres in this competition when it really gets bouncing, the Sydney United Sports Centre, and that little passage of play have just given the supporters their voice here. Massive chance for the Mariners, and they've thrown it away. Rocco Smith has, and that's not something what we've said about him too often this season. Only in double digits for goals. Scored more than half the Mariners' total tally in terms of their goal output. I just wonder if they're going to be able to continue to create opportunities of that quality. Certainly Brantman's looking lively early. The Mariners are not looking too phased by the size of the task in front of them. In fact, they've probably played the better football in the last 5 minutes or so. Whether they're able to do that over a sustained period. There were appeals from United that one went over the line. Looked to along it rather than over it. With the whole of the ball has to cross the whole of the line. Certainly didn't look as though it did there. As it happens, it's worked out fairly well for Sydney United in any case, with them able to move the ball forward. All fell down a little bit there. Bright colours just looked a little bit shaky with his distribution in the early stages. Smith for Smythe. And a beautiful bit of defensive work from Tomalich. It's his trademark. Oliveira turning it over a little bit cheaply. Just allowing Bradman to run and run and run. That's exactly what he's done. Gets his head up and keeps the football. Very good little period for the Mariners that includes a missed penalty for Rocco Smith. If you're just joining us, he's trying to escape the attention of McGing, who's got a fistful of his jersey. Play on for now, says referee Merchant. Smith looking to deliver something intelligent to Menon. Read by Bakadanakoski, saw it all the way. Then he's able to clear. Do more than that. Find Patrick Antelmi, who's so clever with his hold-up work. And he's done beautifully to feed to Robillard. In a foot race with Menon now. Turns back inside. Not too many red shirts forward with him. Let's sum it up for Tarek Maya, who was looking to buy the free kick. And Brody Merchant saw a touch. Experienced United midfielder. Very clever in drawing the challenge and going down under the contact of Jordan Small. How the Mariners might live through that missed penalty, because there are some very good exponents of set pieces, and this is almost position A1. If you could have given Patrick Antelmi the ball and told him to place it down where he'd want a free kick, I think this would be too far from where he'd put it down. 5 in a pretty tall wall for Bright Cullen. I tell you what, it's going to take some wizardry to get it up and down and past the big Mariners goalkeeper. If there's a man who can do it, it's Patrick Antelmi. Struck it low, almost as though he was looking to go under the wall. Would have actually got a little bit too much lift on it. Strange little opening 20 minutes. United looked very, very comfortable in the opening 10. He's put together a good little period, won the penalty kick, missed it. And United seemed to have the impetus back on their side again. Alex Moulton off with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page this afternoon. Happy to have your company from Adenza Park. Happy news for Sydney United 58 fans tuning in. So Rockdale have taken an early lead in that game against St George City. Oleg Urashevsky scoring from the penalty spot, ironically enough. In the other game, their close rivals, the Marconi Stallions, have taken a 1-0 lead down at Albert Butler against Wollongong Wolves. Marko Jesic getting that goal after just 6 minutes. Both those games where you found this one on our YouTube page, as well as every game of the men's and women's competitions this season. There's a full slate of the women's games to come after we conclude around 5 o'clock here. Football on your television or your chosen device all afternoon. weekend comes to an end on this gorgeous Sunday in Sydney. Work from Maya, just locked up in the air for the Oliveira. Rocco Smith did well. Maya did better. Robillard's been given a lot to chase, not too much to his feet so far this afternoon. Good athletes back there. Parker Williams and Andre Parks. Together they've done a pretty good job of quelling the threat posed by Antelmi and Robillard and de Oliveira. Shunta Nakamura's hardly seen the football to this point. A little bit deeper than we're accustomed to seeing him this afternoon. It really is an out-and-out 4-2-3-1. You can see it as they set up to defend. I'll tell you what, the Mariners are making a bit of a mockery of their press at the moment. The last 10 minutes, they've just been able to play around it with relative ease. Done a good job of it too. Lovely touch from Brantman to keep the move going. Nice work from Williams. Small. Strong into his body, but he was certainly the loser in that challenge. Might have copped a whack in the face as well from Anthony Tomolich as he turned away. Down just holding his nose a little bit. Jordan Small. Trying to use his height, but it's well marshalled by McGing again. What's back at Anakoski got? To curl it in behind for de Robillard. Just to nick it off the toe of Menon. Very good voice this afternoon. Good shouts from below us. It was very full just below the Boca stand before kickoff. Antelmi looking to twist and turn his way past the defence. Now linking up with Nakamura. To Robillard. It's a little bit of a loose one. Tomolich bowling his teammate out. Koski was looking for Shunta Nakamura. Well cut off by Shikluna. Really is growing into the leadership of this football team. Nice touch from Gonzalez to intercept the ball meant for Don Niakuru. Nice from Tomolich. Picked up on our effects, mate, but Karlat's just calling for his team to face forward. It's been his one criticism. I've managed to have a couple of chats with him this season. Not always happy with the pace with which the team moved the ball forward. A little bit too content to just keep it at times. These are the passages he doesn't love quite as much as the fluent attacking of his side. Quite clicking as United would like to this point. This game bringing down the curtain on a tricky week. Just got the draw for the Australia Cup round 7 preliminaries, the Waratah Cup quarter-finals that they double as during the week. They're going to take on the winner of Spirit FC and Sydney Olympic here. Game being played on Tuesday nights down at Belmore. Brantman was able to get at the defence, and that was not too far away from Oliver Karlatz's crossbar. A couple of times Bailey Brantman's just been able to turn in probably a bit more space than the Sydney United coaching staff would like. He's looking the threat early. Shikluna and Small have done a very good job through the midfield, making sure that they're not dominated whatsoever. United are having to go around them. They're not able to go through them at all. Really down the centre of the park. Which means Bakadanakoski's going to have to show some enterprise, which is what he's doing here. Diving at the feet of Parker Williams. Nick the ball off him. Menem looking long. Smythe playing hold up, but McGing got the better of him again. Tomolich trying to make the pitch a bit bigger. De Oliveira coming in off the left, and Niankuru stepping in to try and make the challenge. Not happy with the decision, but with the penalty down the other end, it looks fairly straightforward. And now, of course, such is the fun of referee, United players asking for a yellow card. It's one of the more patient officials generally, Brody Merchant. Competition. Probably asking a little ambitiously for a yellow card for that sort of challenge inside the first half hour. See if that stays the same as the game wears on. So Antelmi's been taken off free kick duties now. It's going to be De Oliveira, it looks like. He thumps it into the wall just as Antelmi did about 5 minutes ago. Almost in exactly the same spot. Nothing comfortable in the pattern and tempo of the game at the moment, but the Mariners creating more than enough to give their defence some headaches. Antelmi. And the Freddie offers, and it's very well marshalled there by Parker Williams, who's looked very impressive in the early stages. That's where it's all falling down for the Mariners. Antelmi's managed to step in front of Williams this time, though. Now engaging Andre Parks. Looking for support, or will he go for goal himself? Still Antelmi. Was pondering on it. Maya. Blue shirts are back now. Still might be a hole for them to find. Nakamura. Lovely work from the Japanese midfielder. Gonzalez. Enough curl to keep it in play, and Menem goes back heeling it behind. Not sure whether he meant to make the contact that he did, but United, from my memory, have their first corner of the afternoon. Right on the stroke of the half hour. 15 minutes remaining in this first half. It's been an engaging contest, in which neither's quite been able to gain the upper hand just yet. Mariners still thinking a little bit about that early Lucas Smythe penalty that was blazed over the crossbar. Oh, and they haven't dealt with the corner. With Smythe again. A little bit of ring rust after having last weekend off. Certainly not a part of the pitch he's used to seeing action in. They do bring him back for all those corners. His height is certainly an asset, and he's very, very good in the air. Not just saying that because he's tall either. He's a really smart player with his head. In a physical and mental sense. It's a poor turnover from Maya of all people, and not for the first time this afternoon. Niankuru just overrunning it a tad. Maya able to link up with Shunta Nakamura. Shikluna did well. Just to hold up the attack initially. Sent wide to Gonzalez. Bakadanakoski. Had to be careful, the touchline was right there. Perhaps that panic forced the turnover in the end. Smythe's got his body in good position and slips it through the legs of McGing. Beautiful work from Lucas Smythe. Can he sum it up after that? Not quite. Vlastelica did well to get across and bail out his central defensive partner. I said it's easier said than done getting the better of Liam McGing. Lucas Smythe made it look elementary there. Left a little short, came back to Tomolich. Smith, who's a big boy for his age. Monstering De Oliveira really there. They switch it out quickly. To Headley. Shikluna. Small. A bit bit more cutting edge. They had numbers forward there and just pondered over it for a moment too long. Now they're passing the ball back between their two centre halves in their own half of the pitch. Searching ball from Williams. Might have just had too much on it. Did well to keep it in, Harry Menon, but couldn't get any sort of purchase on it. Vlastelica. Gonzalez has got a touch more space than the Mariners would like out there. Lovely touch. Brilliant block right in front of his goalkeeper, who might have been beaten. It was a fairly simple move in its execution. Quickly switched out to Gonzalez. Nice little underlapping run from De Oliveira. Really, Nakamura had a lot of the goal. Go to Williams in his retreat for scrambling the ball away. Now there's a crowd of bodies in front of the young Mariners goalkeeper, Dylan Parike-Cullen. It's all sorted out, but the line of bodies continues. Very set plan. I think it takes an expert to figure out where this one's going. From Christian Gonzalez, who's made his way over to take the in-swing with his left foot. A lot of arms and bodies coming together in there. It's hoisted into the near post. Parike-Cullen took him a couple of bites of the cherry, but he eventually reeled it in. And now behind play, it was Rocco Smith. Now, this is an interesting penalty kick. The ball is in play, and Liam McGing was an active player in it. It's Rocco Smith. I mentioned the altercation he got involved in with Patrick Antelmi in the opening fixture of the season up in Bloom Park. Merchant seems of the mind that it was a coming together and no more. The fact that McGing had gone to his head, I'm sure. Looks like it'll just be a drop ball. To be very, very careful there, Rocco Smith. These sort of arms raised. Players often aren't thinking about that in situations like the one that just unfolded. I think McGing was being clever and trying to win the foul, knowing exactly what would occur if he won the foul off the referee. Not 100% sure. Case. It's the moment that the Mariners' hearts might have been in mouths. 10 minutes to go in this first half, and they've had the best opportunity. A missed penalty from Lucas Smythe. That's not a sentence I thought I'd be saying this afternoon. Kuru did well, battled through one challenge. Looking to link up with Smythe, threw a heel at it, which kept it alive, and then Tarek Meyer, cool as ever, sorting out the danger. Not really helped out by Tomolic. He just fired it. Now Small. With Brantman, who's been probably the Mariners' best in this first half. Headley getting together, but just on slightly different pages of the same book there. Ball trickles behind for a United goal kick. This game still to be written, but a couple of threads have been tugged at already. Smythe's perfect penalty record is gone. It's one of them. The animosity that we saw at Bloom Park between these two in the opening game of the season, we've seen flashes of, but we're near the intensity that we saw that day. Certainly the second competitive fixture between these two sides at this level. After that 2-1 win to United in the opening game of the season. Mentioned United's midweek football a little bit earlier. The Mariners have been in action. The young Mariners have been in action as well. They took on Duke University in a friendly on Thursday. That's all they've done. Certainly by the Wanderers as well. I think the month of caught Sydney FC. And travels over here as well. College outfit. Preparation for their Division 1 season. Should be starting shortly. Well, he kicks off about August, September time over there. The College Cup is decided in December. Switching the angle of attack, and well, not the best effort from Vlastelica. Foot just betrayed him, really. Pass gave Christian Gonzalez very little chance of getting to it. He said, although the United will be happy with the pattern of this game, they certainly haven't looked particularly threatening in front of goal. Nakamura forcing Parker Williams into a clearance off his line, but that's been about the extent of it to this point. Gonzalez trying to change that. Nice piece of defending from Smith. Blocked the initial cross. Still a chance for Tomalic to deliver. This time it's away by Williams, who's certainly looked superbly assured at the back in this first half. United just upping the tempo a touch. Anakowski uncompromising over the top of Niankuru, but the header didn't lead to anything in an attacking sense. Colin, though he's just waiting for Williams to get his boots sorted here. Patrick Antelmi's not going to let him have that time. Great Parks dribbling it out of danger. Now Cicluna. Brandman. Creative fulcrum of the Mariners midfield. Williams with boots back on. Going out for Lucas Smythe. It's time for the Mariners to try and show some cutting edge. Smythe again. Ian Brantman looking to be the key at the moment. Kuru's not really been able to get into the game. It's a poor turnover from Brantman, really. The Oliveira, the man nicking it off him. Nakamura for de Robillard. Menem did very, very nicely. Impressive ever since that first game where he lunged into a dangerous tackle on Nakamura. That one was beautifully timed, and the ball forward wasn't bad either from Menem. Smythe. Oh, lovely ball for Niankuru, who tried to be unselfish rather than going for goal himself. Ball to the top of the box, and he almost had no one in front of him. Instead trying to drop it back for Menem. I thought will be appreciated, but sure the cry from the Mariners bench would have been to shoot. A couple of good chances that have gone begging for the Mariners in this first half. United making rather harder work of it than they might have fancied coming into the afternoon. This is where they've looked most dangerous, in transition, when they've been able to go quickly, which has probably not been often enough for Zelko Kalatz's liking. De Robillard to come in on his left foot, linking up with Antelmi. And back to Patrick Antelmi. Well blocked by Parks. Danger not clear yet for the Mariners. Maya. Anakowski just opting to keep the football. Moment passes for United. Can they create another one before the break? Tomalic picks it up after Antelmi couldn't. Oliveira for Gonzalez, who's consistently got forward from left back today. Well done by Williams again, in the way. Rising to clear. United putting their foot down, trying to find the goal to break this deadlock before the break. Looking for Anakowski. De Robillard turns it over. Menham's had the better of that little battle today. Update from the other two games, which are approaching half-time as well. Reshevsky's goal still the only one separating Rockdale Illand and St George City. Marconi have doubled their advantage down in Wollongong over the Wolves to lead 2-0. Gorgeous turn from Small. Sensed the presence of De Oliveira and charged past him. It's opened up Rocco Smith on the right. Brantman. Taking the turn, couldn't find his way past the initial defender. Kuru. Really where he likes it. Wants it with green grass in front of him to run. And then looking to measure, and he did it beautifully. Headley in the corner. King followed him the whole way and won the throw as well. Friday down the left today as well, Tay Headley. Turning this season from a dreadful knee injury. Taken out in the last 12 months of football. Playing his football out here, across the road at Marconi. Turn that one over. Southern United a bit of a favour. De Oliveira trying to just wrestle his way past the big figure of Smith. Half-hearted appeals for penalty kick. Once again the moment passes. Just for 1 minute to be added on. Signalled to us by the fourth official, Charbel Geha. Anakoski. This time De Robillard has managed to slip the attention of Menham initially. He did beautifully to recover, but concedes a last-minute corner. Right as we tick over the 45 minutes as well. Short there from Stefan De Robillard, but they've shown a clear plan about what they're trying to do from these quarters on the right-hand side. Gonzalez into the three red bodies lined up in front of Bright Cullen. Didn't beat Menham that time. And referee Merchant says that will do. The first half largely free of incident, but now Rocco Smith is once again being stirred up by some of the United players as they make their way from the field. Liam McGing had an entanglement with him
Scores from other ground.
in the first half as they led the penalty box, and it was, as I said, first half largely free of incident. Lucas Smythe's missed penalty, the big moment. Sydney United 58 had a shot from Shunta Nakamura cleared off the line by Parker Williams, and then Don Nuyekuru looked to pass rather than shoot when in good space with about 5 minutes to go. But that was the extent of the opportunities either side was able to create. And at half-time here at the Sydney United Sports Centre, it's Sydney United 0, Central Coast Mariners 0. park in the attacking half, which has not really been the case for them most of this season. Gonzalez's ball spins towards Tomalic, away by Smythe, who's back there. Won't expect that miss to trouble him too much. His contribution in general play after the miss was superb as always, Lucas Smythe. No doubt the striker be ruining that missed opportunity. Hoping his team aren't at the end of the day. Mentioned at the top of the broadcast, badly needing points coming into today's game. Just 7 points from their opening 14 fixtures. They've got a midweek catch-up game this weekend against St George FC up at Plume Park after that game was rained out in that torrent of precipitation we had a couple of weeks ago. Very interesting to see how this second half unfolds. Sydney United need the 3 points as badly as their opposition if they're to stay comfortably inside the top six. Took them a while to climb in there after a slow start to the year. Form over the past couple of months has been steadily improving. Beautifully timed challenge by Williams, who put himself in a bit of an awkward spot with his first touch. Nakamura's done well to make enough of it for an attacking throw for United. Welcome to you wherever you're joining us around the world this afternoon on the Football New South Wales YouTube page on what's been such a stacked weekend of big football action. A-League Men's Grand Final, a FA Cup Final, Scottish Cup Final as well that were played overnight. Glad you're choosing to spend your Sunday with us. Cluner dropping it off. There's pressure on the Mariners now. United were adventurous with their press, but it wasn't particularly effective. The Mariners have moved the ball around nicely between their backline and midfield. Lucas Villela had a little bit of a slap of his thighs as he walked back into his technical area there, but that looks pretty tidy. Certainly haven't been able to go down Main Street through the middle of the park, but both teams have been pretty tidy. Perhaps that's part of the problem. There's not been a lot of cutting edge to match that tidiness. This is looking more promising for the hosts. De Oliveira, fine goal scoring form and stretching to shoot. Deflected off Parks, and Menem had a thought about putting his foot through it, instead elects to let it trickle behind. Happy to try and defend the follow-up corner. This is more like it from Sydney United. Needing to inject some energy and some intensity into this game. World Cup winners last year. The championship in the COVID season back in 2020. Ball's played in deep. Vlastelic is unmarked. And he headed it back towards goal, but into a forest of blue bodies, who eventually combined to scramble it clear with Menem's the telling touch. Trickling out of play. Certainly a diminutive ball boy over there. Standing to attention. Very diligent in his work. I'll be getting some calls from mum and dad up in the stands as well there. Good to see. Looks as though Villela is readying his first substitution. It looks as though it's going to be Nico Duarte, one of the more experienced members of this Mariners squad. We'll hold that for now, though. De Oliveira again. And isn't he coming into this game, Carlos De Oliveira? Such a telling influence for them over the last month or so. And he's trying to be that once again here as the shadows get longer at the Sydney United Sports Centre. United have just upped the tempo, which is what the doctor ordered after half-time. Cluner inviting the press from Tomalic, strong enough to see off the challenge. Duarte, of course, found out earlier this week, the nephew of one Alex Brosk. Scicluna striding past challenges and drawing the free kick from Carlos de Oliveira. Trying to get his body between Scicluna and the ball. Just 3 in the wall for Calats. Brantman will fancy his chances here if he chooses to go for goal. It's going to be the dummy out with Scicluna, the right-footed option. Now Merchant blows his whistle. It's going to be Bailey Brantman. There's been a theme of striking the wall from free kicks down that end of the pitch so far this afternoon. United did it twice in the first half, and now the Mariners are following suit. Headley's touch just had a little bit too much on it for Smythe, and it's no nonsense. The clearance from Liam McGing. Made very good contact with that one. Mariners just happy to slow the tempo a little after absorbing quite a bit of pressure in the opening moments of this second half. Niankuru going to measure one for Brantman, but Vlastelica read it all the way and rushed across to cut it out. Gonzalez for Nakamura. Lovely little nod on from the diminutive number 8. Bakadana Koski for Tomalic. Didn't strike that quite as he would have liked, but it worked out okay with Nakamura getting in front of Scicluna. Not the first time he's been pinged for a foul like that this afternoon. Can be a nasty one. We saw that rule Neymar out of a World Cup about, it'll be 10 years ago now, 2014. Honestly, that tournament seems like it was yesterday. Nakamura seems to have got up and is moving fairly freely, so not suffering the same fate as the Brazilian startlet that day. And Stefan de Robillard has continued his little battle with Harry Menem on the far side in the second half, and he's won his team a corner. Up in there, another outswinger from de Robillard, and Pride Cullen did very well to get out and make sure the ball didn't travel any further. There's such an assurance for defences when you've got a goalkeeper comfortable and competent claiming balls in and around his 6-yard box like that. His size for Ike Cullen, there's no surprise that that is one of his undoubted strengths. Cluna for Parks, and now Smith. De Oliveira did very, very well, and then just held his run and drew the free kick. And Rocco Smith is going to need some protection here from the officials, because he's already drawn the ire of the Sydney United players in the first half, and indeed in their opening game of the season, and now he finds himself in the book. Shake of the head, look of bemusement. You feel that was as much about the build-up of flashpoints that he's been involved in so far today as much as the challenge itself. Clever bit of work from De Oliveira, just knowing that he was there and at full pace. If he slowed up a little, he was about to come clattering through his back. That's exactly what happened. Vlastelica never backward in coming forward in his opinion on decisions to referees. Kalat's come into the team this year under his father Zelko. After a shaky start, has really cemented that number 1 jersey. So long held for Daniel Nizic here. Of course, has made his way a very short distance down to MacArthur. He's their backup goalkeeper for most of the season, behind the very talented Pole Philip Curto. Meyer copped a big kick from Bailey Brantman, but still got the pass away. And De Oliveira looking for Antelmi, who was happy to drag Parker Williams to the ground. Hasn't been able to get the better of him yet today, Patrick Antelmi. I don't know whether it's a generalisation, but you feel like a lot of his best work comes in the second half. In the first, he was marshalled very well by Parks and Williams together. And Williams just showing off a left foot and a nice switch of play. Looking tidy, all right. The Mariners were able to get a clean sheet here today. A fantastic result for them because the defence has been one of the worries as much as the lack of goals. Headley into a dangerous position. The ball didn't match the run. Ian Kuru is in the right position there at the back post, just couldn't find him. Now United look to go in transition, but it's just not enough numbers getting forward. Meyer and Tomalic are similar types of players in that sense. Meyer a bit more happy to play with the ball, and his pass forward has led to this. And Antelmi still dancing past defenders. De Oliveira, well blocked by Parks. Had to stretch, but it was fired low enough that he was able to stretch out a foot and make the block. Mariners having to absorb pressure. Nico Duarte might be making his way on for the Mariners very shortly. Alessandro Lacalandra and Milicevic are both receiving instructions from Coach Kalatz. In the meantime, Gonzalez swinging the corner away from goal. Nice touch from Brantman, only as far as de Robillard. Nice block from Nian Kuru, getting back to do some defending. Can he get his side going forward with a clever ball for Small? Vlastelica was just happy to hold up the play, sensing a counter might be developing. Happy to stop his young opponent by fair means or foul. Was the latter there. Shots from the hill. It's raising slightly in veracity and volume a moment. Niankuru. A bit frustrated, I'm sure, that their team have not been able to put anything together. That's not been his best afternoon to this point, Don Niankuru. With the shining lights in a team that have struggled to pick up results and goals. Smythe and Brantman probably the trio. Certainly Parker Williams is putting in a fine performance at the back today. There haven't been too many Mariners who haven't done that. In all honesty. It's a crunching collision between Gonzalez and Niankuru. No foul, and then Small just breaking up that play before it could develop. Vlastelica keen to get the ball going forwards quickly. Back at Anakoski. Bailey Rule again today with semi-serious injury at the moment. Seen back at Anakoski getting a lot more time on the pitch. Nice touch from De Oliveira. Now Antelmi. Gorgeous first touch. The turn wasn't bad either. It's Patrick Antelmi. Not too influential today, but he can always pop up with a goal when they need it. Sydney United 58.
9, Patrick Antelmi.
A brace in the week and a beautiful bit of play. Linking up with De Oliveira and then slipping it between the legs of the defender and right in the corner of Bryant Cullen's net. The pressure building and building to start this second half. And if there was ever anybody who was going to be on the end of what was to come, it was Patrick Antelmi. Scored in the reverse fixture as well at Plume Park before his red card. We're hoping history doesn't repeat itself in that sense this afternoon, but the goals keep on coming for the United talisman. It's his 8th in the league this season alone, double figures in league and cup put together. There's a reason he's still leading the line. A moment really worth, for a lot of these Sydney United 58 fans, the price of admission today on its own merits. Superb stuff. He's an old-fashioned striker in Patrick Antelmi. He can do the hold-up, he can do the build-up work, but he just loves scoring goals, and he is so, so good at it. And I hate to keep returning to it, but you just think about that penalty in the first half that Rocco Smith blazed over the crossbar and how it might have changed the complexion of this match early. Maybe Sydney United came back earlier, maybe they played with a little bit more vigour than they showed in the first half, who knows, but it's a moment the Mariners would love back. Could look to strike back here with Niankuru ducking inside and meeting the firm figure of Lastalitsa. So often in the right place at the right time. A little bit of luck there, playing the ball back off Niankuru. Oh, how about the touch from Nakamura? And how a goal can just give a team a little bit more confidence and a little bit more drive and a little bit more energy, as it has given Sydney United 58 here this afternoon. Heavy favourites now with just under half an hour to play. They've just got to be careful that they won't get too calm and casual, because they have looked comfortable. The chance to Smythe is really the only one the Mariners have been able to create. Jarobelard could be looking to double their misery. Well blocked by Menham. Been another one who's put in a pretty solid performance this afternoon.
The whole game they won a para, you should have played a fucking para. If I had your number, I would ring you, take him off, I'm gonna close one like that.
And this is the game state United are so comfortable with. They are rarely caught when they take leads in games. Doing a game here a couple of years ago. Well, in fact, it was last season. Spirit, who was early in the year, they took the lead twice, were pegged back twice. That is a rarity, though. Gonzalez put that right by beating them in the cup later in the year. Very, very tidy performance here on a Wednesday night. Maya for Vlastelica. This is where the old heads do their best work, and Antelmi looking to try something creative over the top. Didn't quite come off. His goal has been the telling moment in the match. Name so often that pops up on the scoreboard here at the Sydney United Sports Centre. Small for Brantman. Can he be the man to turn the match? Working with Cicluna and Smith. The movement's just gone, and Sydney United are happy to sit a little bit deeper now with this goal advantage. Just makes the Mariners' task that little bit more tricky. Cicluna. Smith looking to knock it in behind. Well dealt with by Gonzalez, at least initially. And did enough to win the throw. Frustration growing on the Mariners bench below us. Mentioned how important their next little run of fixtures is. Mentioned that game on Wednesday night at Plume against St George FC, who they'll feel they can get a result off. And they face Apia at home next Saturday, 5 o'clock up at Plume Park. And then an interesting little run where they take on Hills, the Western Sydney Wanderers, and Sydney FC in 3 weeks over June. Really, they'll need points from, you would think, 3 of those fixtures if they're to have any shot at surviving. Right at the bottom side in the division, set to go down automatically, and then side finishing 15th, which at the moment is Sydney FC's academy side going to a 2-legged promotion relegation playoff against the second place team in League One. The result of that last year was that St George FC found their way up into the top tier with a 2-1 win over 2 legs over the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. After a 1-1 draw in the first leg, they actually went away and got the result in the second at Popondetta Park. So want to avoid those positions at all costs. Mariners are building something here. You just wonder if it's going to be in time to keep them in the top tier. No foul adjudged there by referee Merchant, and Headley thought about keeping it in play, but thought better of it. Give his side to try and find something from this corner. And how does that change Selko Kalatz's plans? Attacking substitutions were looking likely. Now you wonder if he'll be a little bit more reticent to make those same substitutions. Could all change here if they equalise the Mariners. Secluda's ball in, found its way to Duarte, who has joined us. Parks. And Nico Duarte had stayed in an offside position. He was part of that NPL 2 grand final here a couple of years ago. Very much a youngster. He only just signed from memory for the Mariners. A couple of years older and wiser. Got the number 9 on his back now. Looks like it's going to be a treble of substitutions for Selko Kalatz, Tome Vancic, Alessandro Lacalandra and Milicevic all being readied. There's going to be one for the Mariners as well. Payne Eames is the man introduced. Into the road for Tay Headley. He's been tidy down the left. Christian Gonzalez has been taken off, so Vancic will go into left back. That's a like-for-like change. Lacalandra to go out to the right for Stefan de Robillard, who had his moments this afternoon but wasn't able to find the back of the net. And Milicevic coming to the left. Which means Carlos de Oliveira will now partner Tarek Meyer in the heart of midfield. Milicevic is a player who prefers playing through the middle of the park. He was muscled off that one by Rocco Smith, though. De Oliveira winning it back. Just be careful with a couple in pursuit of him. Want to squeeze it out to Baka Danakoski and then get it back off him as well. Couldn't beat Small, though. Nice work from the Mariners screening midfielder. Williams. Smalls trying to make his mark on this game, trying to turn it, trying to play the leader for the Mariners through the middle of the park, along with Shikluna. Parks for the captain of the Mariners this afternoon. And once again, all that was meant for Brantman was picked off by Nakamura, headed forward by De Oliveira. And now Lacalandra has the chance to stretch his legs, which is what he loves to do. Turned that Waratah Cup final when he came on in extra time last season. Kuru has Vancic in his back. He did well to shrug away his attentions. Those three are the key. Just got their foot on the ball. Duarte and Kuru and Brantman, with Smythe having been substituted. Brantman happy to run. Giving the United defence problems. Ivancic just stayed on his feet for long enough. Threatened to go to ground a couple of times. Good piece of defending from the left fullback. Player under Selko Kalatz at the Bulls Academy last season as well. And now Rocco Smith, and it's those two again. They've got history, Smith and Antelmi. And Smith is claiming there was an arm or something raised in his direction. He's quite wisely getting out of it. Vlastelica is now having words with Chabogea, the fourth official, thinking he might have seen something. I thought it was all much ado about nothing personally. Vlastelica certainly didn't see it that way. Smith is doing his best to stay out of trouble. He's already been booked this afternoon. He's been targeted by United at several points throughout the game. Freddie Merchant is now consulting with his very experienced assistant referee, Lance Greenshields. Gone well into three figures. Oh, and now I think Rocco Smith has been sent off for the second game in a row against Sydney United 58, and it was a straight red too. There was no yellow. And Lucas Villela cannot believe it. He is very, very aggrieved by that decision. The protest will continue from the Mariners bench. The tall task that they already had in front of them is about to get a little higher. Now, Merchant's still got the yellow card in his hand, and Patrick Antelmi's found himself in the book as well. Those two coming together doesn't often result in good for either of them. Antelmi's managed to stay on the pitch this time. And his old foe from earlier in the season is off down the tunnel. Karlach calls for calm. Just needs his team to see this game out now. Now this is interesting though, because the free kick has gone the way of the Mariners. Now it's Lucas Cicluna who's taken up the argument with Freddie Merchant. They'll feel a little bit unlucky here, the Mariners. They have not had much of it go their way this afternoon. I'd go as far as to say that if they had any less, they wouldn't have any at all. So, only 3 cards handed out so far by the referee this afternoon. 2 of them into Rocco Smith, a yellow and then a straight red for violent conduct. And Patrick Antelmi, who was involved in that little spat. It's the other one in the book, the only Sydney United player to see yellow this afternoon. All whipped in by Cicluna. Will that just enliven the Mariners? That's the question. They get fired up for their teammate, who they feel has been wronged. Down to 10 players, it's a big task. Nice work from Duarte, though, to find his captain, Cicluna. Niankuru. Nice bit of defensive play from Adam Zervas, once, of course, of the Newcastle Jets Academy. I don't know if that'll be something that still resides for him, but or resonates rather for him, but certainly a smart first touch of the football. Here's Ivancic looking for the man who got the goal, Patrick Antelmi. And Shunta Nakamura has made the run into the space that he's just vacated. Still Nakamura. Oh, and a deflection off Parks as well, but had it going towards goal rather than away from it. Fortunately for the Mariners, it trickles behind, and a corner kick is awarded. Another substitution for the Mariners. It's going to be Michael Paragali. He's actually a Canberra native. He was once of Gungahlin United, making his way on. End of the afternoon for Don Niankuru, who showed us flashes again, but wasn't able to produce an end product for the visitors this afternoon. With 15 minutes to go, United are heavy favourites. Nakamura, well, that's not what he was trying to do whatsoever. In fact, it was Zervas over there to take that one. Probably because it was one of his first touches of the football. I'm not sure whether that was the reason for the miscue. Well, this is going to be a big result for Sydney United 58. They are able to hang on here. Spakadana Koski wins his side the free kick. That's not good news because Aiden Milicevic was actually the man removed for Adam Zervas there. So that is a big, big issue. Sydney United 58 need a fit Aiden Milicevic down the stretch just to give them that little bit of added quality in midfield and when they're chasing games. So it might be a costly afternoon for both teams in the end. Ivancic. Zervas. Oh, and a lovely underlapping run from Jordan Ivancic. Couldn't find anyone in red. Out to De Oliveira. Right, Cullen saw it all the way. Made a smart save and managed to keep it in his grasp as well. Milicevic just looking at him getting treatment down below us. It looks like a right hamstring, which is not too promising. Could be a few weeks out, don't wish to speculate, but not a good looking one. Lakalandra running at Menem, who's handled everything that's been thrown at him so far this afternoon. Lakalandra managed to keep it in play and then turned it over. Wanting to make something of it very, very well was Eames, and he's won his side the throw. Mariners have got a big week coming up, that Wednesday night fixture. There'll be midweek action for them the second week in a row after that friendly with Duke University last week. This one will be a competitive fixture though. One that could really play a big part in whether they're able to stay up next season. Brantman is looking for a flick rather than something more out of the coach's manual. Not sure that would have impressed Villela particularly. And Antelmi's just starting to have his way as this game goes on. Parker Williams is being drawn further and further into midfield to try and chase him. Gap between defence and midfield of the Mariners just getting bigger and bigger. This has been the telling touch, both on the score sheet and drawing opposition into red cards. And tell me again. Spinning and he's perhaps getting a little bit lucky that that ball just thumped into Small and back to his goalkeeper. Mariners are going to be very careful that they don't just slumber towards a 1-0 result. The game is still there for them if they're brave enough to go and chase it. The pace they're playing at the moment very much suits Sydney United 58, particularly with the player advantage. And I'm forced to turn back. Switcher players got to be quick and precise. At the moment it's just movement for movement's sake. That's a bit better. Paragali. Brantman has drifted out to the right. Will be looking to duck back in on his left. That's what he did, and Zervas, not for the first time since he's come on, did beautifully. And Myers just strode past both of the Mariners midfielders. Bakadana Koski forwards, stretching those long legs. Lakalandra, if he's got the quality, he's trying to find his way past Menem. He has been absolutely outstanding at left full back this afternoon. Fortunately, it might be in a losing side. Certainly that's looking likely. Not for Brantman. And Tarek Maya. Beautiful reader of the game. Even more beautiful control of the football. Looking for Vlasica as the game winds down. the sun has set. Might have set on the Mariners' hopes of getting anything from this one. It's still only a goal to nil. Patrick Antelmi strike just before the hour mark. The difference before Rocco Smith was sent off for a raised arm towards that same player. All after Lucas Smythe sent a penalty over the crossbar in the early stages of the first half. That seems a very long time ago now. At the moment, that's the story for the Mariners, is one of what might have been. Zelko Kalats is not particularly happy with the thrust forward that his side is showing, or perhaps lack of. Hancic again. Ball being moved from side to side. That's enough to get the result for Sydney United as it stands this afternoon. The second would just present that little buffer. It's the cherry on top of what hasn't been the trademark performance they might have been looking for today, but it's enough for 3 points. And at this stage of the season, considering their circumstances, right on the brink of the top 6, could be very, very valuable to them in the end. Just kept the ball for about 2 minutes here. If it led to a goal, that would be the cherry on top. Antelmi darting out of the defensive line and lining up. Would have been lining up Shunta Nakamura as well, who's making the diagonal run. As it happened, he didn't catch it quite as sweetly as he would have liked, and it flew away over Parike Collins' crossbar. Results from the other 2 games we're talking about this afternoon. Been a red card down at the Illingdon Sports Centre as well, so St George City are down to 10, chasing still Alek Urashevsky's penalty in the 13th minute. That is the only goal of that game. It's going to send Rockdale to the top of the ladder tonight if they can hang on there. St George City will be back to a 3-point chase of the opposition, hosting the Mariners today, who they managed to defeat last weekend. Tom Cox was the man sent off. I'm just getting word through. Brantman could flip that script on his head if he can find a goal. Cicluna trying to be a little bit too clever, and then a beautifully timed challenge from Zervas, who won the 50-50 but conceded the throw.
Next to you, look, the coach, the real coach. Next to the real coach.
That other game between Marconi and the Wollongong Wolves, it still sits 2-0 to the visitors. Both goals to the captain, Marko Jesic.
Giving him that. He's saying no. I saw him waving no. Listen, he's going to come on out.
Cicluna out wide for Harry Menham. You can find all the highlights and match reports of all those games at the NPL New South Wales social pages, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Just search at NPL New South Wales. It'll all pop up there. Well, some of the highlights as they come in from around the grounds as well.
Listen, Robert, he coming after that. Yeah, David and Anna coming.
Mariners not dead yet.
Hey, Jackie.
Cicluna with another ball in towards the near post. The Oliveira flying to get a touch on it, and then another very late challenge from Paragal. In fact, it was Duarte, and he's going to go in the book as well. Certainly wasn't too worried about whether he got the ball. The man there, Nico Duarte. Mariners have not been backward in going forward, and this is going to give United a chance just to eat a little bit more time off the clock as well. Good result for the hosts. They needed that as a bounce back from the loss last weekend, which I mentioned a couple of times. Of course, they got that in some way, their win down the coast at Wollongong United in the Cup in midweek.
Tell him he's disappointed me.
Patrick Antelmi's 3rd goal of the week, funnily enough, after that game where he got 2. They travelled down to Wollongong to take on the Wolves next weekend. That's another Sunday 3 p.m. kickoff at Albert Butler Reserve. An interesting little period. They could play Sydney Olympic a couple of times in the space of a couple of weeks. If they progress in the Cup, they've been drawn to play the winner of Spirit and Olympic for a place in the Australia Cup round of 32. They've become perennial participants in that competition. Sydney United 58. Couple of home games in a row after that. Mentioned the Olympic game, and then Spirit come to town, and Sydney United have got a very good record against them at this ground, not so much away from home. It's been a game that's thrown up some entertaining clashes over the past couple of years, including a Waratah Cup final where United were upset by the then NPL 2 sides, as it was back then. Lakalandra. He's just happy to take it to the corner. It's going to give Eames some defending to do. He just knocks it out of play. Sydney United will take every moment allowed to them now. Winding this game down. Not their prettiest performance, but that won't be recorded on the table or in the results at the end of the year. 1-0 it will read. That is more than enough today. Parker Williams just being allowed to dribble the ball upfield. Has to be said, not with a lot of urgency. Menham showing rather more energy and enthusiasm to try and get forward. He didn't have a lot of support though. In the end, weight of numbers showed. One back by Small and then turned over to De Oliveira, who, not for the first time this afternoon, gets his body in the way, feels the contact, and wins his side the free kick.
Oh, what a joke, man. He's doing a header. It's bad. It's shocking, man.
Time running out for the Mariners, and have not exactly helped themselves, I'd say, in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Certainly luck's gone against them, but
go back to your own club.
not created anything of note in the second half. Well, the Kalats has been an active bystander, really, if there can be such a thing.
In 8 months. He doesn't know what his dad really.
Menham winning another ball in the air. De Oliveira drawing another late challenge from a Mariners player. This time it's Jordan Small. He's another name in Freddie Merchant's now rather crowded notebook. A little bit of frustration creeping into the Mariners game now. Just thinking it was looking a little bit dark. The floodlights beginning to come on now. They're only going to have a minute or so left of this game to light up. Patrick Antelmi has done that. His goal the difference. As we tick towards stoppage time. Antelmi might look to double his tally. Menham did very nicely. Timed his challenge but conceded the corner. More precious seconds tick away for the visitors. Will be another week rooted to the bottom of the NPL New South Wales table. That win against Sutherland a couple of weeks ago was scant relief. It's seeming as we play another game where they've not been able to find the back of the net, chasing the game. Nice touch back, Zervas, away by Parks. It's been a much improved defensive performance, but the 0 on the goal tally is going to be the telling one for the young Mariners here this afternoon. Free kick goes the Mariners' way this time, much to the disdain of those on the hill. Some in the Boca stand behind us here in our broadcast position. Parks turning away from Antelmi. 5 minutes signalled by the fourth official, Chavel Gayat, so there is still time. Brantman probably looked the most likely, and Zervas again diving into a beautifully timed challenge. There's another player down behind play. This time it's Shunta Nakamura. say, I've completely missed what caused that. Sitting down in back plate. It's just a coming together. Hasn't affected Shunta too much. He's back up, sprinting to close down Andre Parks. Helpful ball forward from Williams. Gave Paragali something to chase. Brantman had it turned over. Adam Zervas has just been like an energizer bunny since coming on. And in a defensive sense, his reading of the play has been absolutely brilliant. Second to none this afternoon. Michael Andra. For the Oliveira as the artificial light takes over from the natural. Ivancic looking down the line. Zervas in space. Cicluna forced to get back and try and cover. But Zervas is too good for him. Draws the free kick. Tired legs of the Mariners captain, stretching and catching Adam Zervas, who has sparkled off the bench for Sydney United 58 this afternoon. Two on the wall for Bright Cullen. Well, it might be half a mind to go for goal himself. That's exactly what he does, and a very good save from the Mariners keeper, Dylan Bright Cullen. Got to that point in his dive where it almost feels like the unnatural arm has to come up and tip the ball over his crossbar. Very good bit of shot stopping. United happy to keep it in the corner. It's dug out of there. But the ball is whipped in by Bakar Anakoski. Didn't have anyone on the end of it. Call from Kalats for his players to get across. They're not long now to hang on. Not a performance I think he'll be particularly pleased with, but the result will matter more. Williams. Ivancic has been another bright spot off the bench. He's been very tidy in his work at left fullback. Parks. There's just no one in blue offering. Cicluna eventually does, and then looks to curl one over the top for Paragali. Ivancic forced to concede the throw, and he will go into the book for a rather obvious piece of time wasting. Brantman hitting that one with the outside of his boot. There was no touch off the defender. That draws applause from Zelko Kalats. A couple of ironic cheers from the United supporters. This has been the extent of Kalats' work in the second half. Anakoski up to win the header, just give his team a precious few more yards, diving to clear another. Filling in for Bailey Rule today at right fullback, and he's done a terrific job. McGing winning another header over a taller opponent. Duarte's got to be careful, he's already been booked, but he timed that challenge beautifully. Cicluna. Paragali and Duarte in another coming together, and this time the decision does go against him. Offers a hand to Tarek Meyer to get back onto his feet. Frustrating day at the office for the Mariners attacking players. Started in such a promising manner as well. They really were taking the game to United in the opening 20 minutes or so. Just have not been able to keep that quality up. United's technical ability and experience has shown not their prettiest performance. It took a saving goal from Patrick Antelmi again. The Mariners hurt, added to after Lucas Smythe's missed penalty in the first half. Rocco Smith sent off for the second consecutive game against this opponent on a disappointing afternoon for the team, who remain rooted to the bottom of the NPL New South Wales table. For United, a bit of breathing room again in the top six.
as they look to secure finals football again in 2023. Or 2024 even. Been very nice bringing you the game this afternoon from Edensor Park. Alex Molchanov signing off from the Sydney United Sports Centre, where it's finished Sydney United 58-1, Central Coast Mariners 0.